Hello, you guys. And wait, is this shooting? Yes, it is. Awesome. Oh gosh. I gotta quit smoking these cigarettes. I really have to stop. But hey, you guys, how are you? I hope you're good. I hope if you're in Florida, in the Tampa area, I hope you're evacuating. If not, girl, my prayers are with you. But yeah, just I hope everyone is good. Um, so before I even begin this video, I feel like the world, I don't know what is going on with planet Earth. There seems to be floods and earthquakes and hurricanes just everywhere right now. I mean, in the city that I live in, we are dealing with one of the worst floods that we've seen in 10 years. So I'm just like, what on earth is going on? All right, so my name is Christabel, the original Power Ranger princess. And on this channel, I like to talk about, I do like story times, which I'm gonna do one now. A lot of them are like trans related. I'm talking about like my own experience transitioning and all of that. I also do like Barbie videos, and I'm gonna start getting into spirituality more, so be on the lookout for those videos. But on this video, I wanted to talk about the first time that I actually, like talked to someone. Now, this is, oh my gosh, like, I'm gonna try and make sure that this video is in no way like smutty or in bad taste or whatever, but topping someone for the first time was such an empowering experience for me as a trans woman, and I'll explain why in this video. Now, I transitioned, or I began the journey in 2011. 2011, 12, 13, 14. I was in therapy all 4 years in preparation to transition. Now, the first 2 years, I was living as a male, and then I started living as a female, which, God, it scared me. But I think back then, even though like I had like crushes and stuff, and there were so many different people, friends even, that I would have loved to have dated, the idea of intimacy and sex seemed strange and weird. Now you have to understand, like, I kind of only lost my virginity, I think, when I was like 25, 26. And when I say lost my virginity, I mean the first time I consented to having sex with somebody and I was being penetrated was when I was 25. So before that, any other instances where other people had been sexual to me had really just been sexual misconduct, and I always felt disempowered and I needed to get therapy, but we're not going to talk about that. So obviously I already had some issues when it comes to intimacy and sex. Now, the first time I had consensual sex, being a trans woman and believing that because I'm trans, I should have shame regarding, Penelope, my member, my third leg, my my penis. I felt like I should have shame about that. And the only possible way that I could have sex was if I were at the bottom and the person was penetrating me. That's what I've been taught. That's what I saw like in pornography. Um, that's what people were saying to me. So of course I believed that's how we're all supposed to have sex. And I actually think there are more girls out there that aren't actually bottoms. I think so many of us only bottom because, yes, a lot of us bottom because we enjoy it. It helps make us feel more feminine, more like a woman. Um, I've heard girls say that. It helps make them feel more feminized. And I just remember when I would hear things like that, being like, listen, I do not need to be in pain to feel like a woman. That should not be part of like the gig. No. I shouldn't be like screaming and hollering and like climbing up the walls and like walking funny the next day. No, like if I am gonna do that, which I'm not, like I'm a top, I would want a situation where it lasts, like hours and, your eyes are rolling back and you're in an absolute state of bliss. You know what I mean? I would want all parts of my body to respond, from my nipple to feeling in here, like even having a tingling sensation in my legs down to my toes. That to me, that's an orgasm. And bottoming's never given that to me. And if it gives it to you, girl, like you live your best life. We all like gotta do what makes us happy. But the first time I actually bottomed, I had there was this guy that I was friends with, and we were in a situationship. Now he came over. Did I say the first time I bottomed or topped? Okay, so this story is about the first time I topped, not bottomed. So me and this guy were talking and whatever. We'd gone out on a couple of dates, but it didn't really work out. And then I ended up dating someone. And then when I was single on the rebound, I was like, you know what? Like, come on over. Like, I don't judge. Like, just come on over. We're gonna like chill, do something cute. We'll have fun. Just come on over. Come on. So, yeah, he did. I think we were watching like Black Mirror, which I love Black Mirror, or I used to. I need to start watching it again. But we're watching Black Mirror. Okay, I'll describe this boy. He is like 6'3", blue eyes, very tall, very masculine. Like he speaks English like his grandfather was a duke. He speaks incredibly well. He sounds like what you would imagine. I don't know, like people in the 1950s trying to sound British sound like, but he sounds naturally like that. So, we're on the couch and we're like feeling on each other, touching each other. At this point, I'd never ever topped. The only experiences that I'd had was of being topped and sexual misconduct. And those had always been unpleasant. So here I am with this, like this guy, and he's all cute and whatever. And I'm like, yeah, like let's do stuff. Because even though I didn't like bottoming, I was still gonna let him top me. And there are other things that I enjoy. So I knew the penetrative part was not the most important part for me until 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 so obviously you have to prep before you know, let someone up there. So I prepped, and he was so like sweet. We're gonna call him Frankie. Francois. Frankie. We're gonna go for Frankie. And I've told this story before on my other video, like on my other channel, but he was so like, I remember I sat on his lap, and he was gonna slide himself inside of me, and it wasn't working. Like my face, I was twitching in my face, like it wasn't comfortable. And I'm the type of person where I'll be like, okay, come on, we can do it. Don't worry about me. It'll be fine. When in reality, I'm like, oh God, this is awful, and I wish it would stop. So he then asked, you know, he was like, have you ever topped anyone? And I was like, no. And he's like, do you want to try topping me? I remember how I was sitting on his lap. I remember the expression on his face. I even remember, like, the color of the sheets. When I say my mind was blown, and you have to understand, yes, I know there are girls who top. Yes, I've been on the internet. Yes, I've been in NGOs, and I'm educated on this matter. But it was the first time that I'd actually encountered a guy who actively wanted to bottom for me. And it was the first time that I was almost been given permission to use my member. Girl, I was excited, but then I got too excited. I got nervous. Because, you know, sometimes you worry that you're going to have, like, performance failure, or it's not going to be, you know, what you said it's going to be. Like, I think so many people, when they're going to top you, have sex with you, especially guys do this. They'll say this to girls. Ooh, I'm gonna beat the pussy up. I'm gonna give it a black eye. And, you know, then their dicks are soft. So for me, stupidly, I mean, I was already ready. Like, there was, I didn't need anything. But I felt that maybe halfway, like, I'll stop, or I might come too quickly. Like I was scared. Do you know what I do? On top of the fact that I'm already raging, and I'm already, like, you know, ready to pound this person. Case in point, if your body is telling you it's ready to pound on someone, you don't need nothing extra. Listen to my stupid self. There was this, best way I can describe it. Africa is effed up, but there's this coffee, and it basically helps with your erection, apparently. I don't know, maybe it works, but never use it when you're already erect. That boy, I had him trapped in that room for hours. It got so bad, like, we were so loud. like my flatmates, the people who lived with us, this one girl who does CrossFit, because we were like screaming and moaning and all of that, she was like, look, I'm gonna go to the gym for an hour, and yeah, like I can't deal with this, like it's too loud. But like she comes back, right? And me and Frankie are still at it. And I'll never forget, because after Frankie after Frankie left, he's such a sweetheart, walking all funny. It even got, girl, but it even started to get a little dark. I think it was about like 5-ish, 6-ish. And he had gotten at my place at like 2 or 1 or something. So we'd been at it. But I think the reason it played out that way was, one, I had never topped anyone. I was damn near 30. I already was 30. I already was 30. No, I was 29. Millennials forget their age. But I was 29. Do you understand? 29 years, or maybe not necessarily 29 years. I probably would have started getting, aroused when I was like, to be honest, 12. So 12 to 29. That's many, many years of not actually being able to actually have sex, because there's a difference between sex that you enjoy, that you want to have, that makes you feel powerful, that makes you feel happy, that makes you feel excited and exhilarated, and sexual misconduct that can lead to PTSD. Those are not the same things. So even though I'd had the former, I hadn't had the latter. I'd never had good sex. And it was Frankie and that coffee and that booty and some of what we drank that just, like, I had so much fun. And I knew from that moment on that I would never, girl, never say never, because this booty did bottom and I regretted it. But I remember at that moment, they were sort of these two feelings. On the one hand, I was like, oh my God, this feels so good, finally. Like, there's a purpose for Penelope being here. She can, like, do something that makes me happy. Like I can learn to love her more now. And this is going to be problematic, and if you have not already canceled me at this point, you might cancel me after the second statement. As a Black South African who's often felt abused and taken advantage of, conquered in many ways by my family, by the racist teachers that used to teach me and bully me, racist people in my school and stuff. There was something about that interaction, and that, yes, Frankie is my friend, I love him, but the fact that he was allowing me to almost, I won't say that I was taking his manhood, but rather he was offering it to me. And I finally felt empowered. I was turned on. My leg was shaking. Girl, I saved nothing for the honeymoon. I wanted it all, because I'd never had, intimacy like that. And that's when I realized you don't necessarily need all these, like, magic coffees and Viagras and pills and whatnot. Listen, if you're looking at the right piece of cake, you're gonna want to eat. You're gonna want to eat. And I'm just gonna end off with this because my videos tend to get messy. There's nothing wrong with having sex that makes you feel comfortable. The point of sex is for you and the other person to enjoy each other's bodies. It's a beautiful kind of like union where you get to share such an intimate and beautiful part of yourself with somebody else. They allow themselves to be vulnerable, and you allow yourself to be vulnerable. And yeah, sometimes there is a dynamic, like a play of masculinity and femininity, of power being given and power being taken. All of that plays in, I understand. But the thing is, sex should feel good. It should feel happy, healthy. Both parties should walk out like, whew, I'm calling you again tomorrow. You know what I mean? Like, yeah, like it literally should be like that. Like, if you're at the bottom, you should be like walking a little funny and be like, why am I walking funny? And then you remember why, and you're like, oh yeah. If you're a top, you should be, like when you're texting the person, you're like, oh yeah, they really did back it up on me though. Frankie was an excellent bottom. He had plenty of time to practice, but not everyone who says they can bottom can. I've had guys like climbing up the wall, like pretending they were running away, and I'm like, what are you doing? Like, just stop. Like, do you want to or don't you? Because if you do, I need you to not act like you're running away from me. Because I can leave and finish myself off. But yeah, and also know your limits. So many bottoms don't know their limits, and they think they can handle it, and sometimes they just can't. Tell me why this one bottom faints during a pounding. A bottom faints during a pounding. That's not a bottom. That's someone experimenting. Someone who thought they could come play with the big kids. Someone who isn't tall enough for the ride. That's someone who that's Icarus who flew too close to the sun. So if you are an inexperienced bottom, practice fingers, toys. There's an array of things you can do. Be creative. I don't need to teach you. And most important, make sure you're clean down there. Please. I can't stress that enough. Like, I honestly can't. And yeah, make sure you have fun. Make sure you have fun. And for the trans girls, you don't have to be a top because guys want you to be. And you don't have to be a bottom because society wants you to be. The only thing you have to be is happy, hydrated, healthy, in love, living your best life. Anyways, love you so much. I thought this video was going to be short, but girl, like, I had a lot to say. Still have more. But I'll see you guys. Bye.